From trailer T-bones to plowing pickups, rainy wrecks to instant justice, Wham Bam Dashcam is back with 20 new Dashcam videos you won't see anywhere else. Buckle up! Keith was driving his Toyota Prius one early morning in Utah when the driver of an F-350 made an unexpected U-turn up ahead. Oh, did we not mention that the F-350 was pulling a trailer with a side-by-side on it? Keith applied full braking after realizing what was happening, but at 65 miles per hour, it only took 2 seconds for his Prius to cross the remaining distance. After the T-bone impact sent his phone flying, Keith used his car's SOS button to summon police and paramedics to the scene. Incredibly, he had no injuries other than being very sore. Morgan was waiting in a fast food drive-thru when a pickup driver who just pulled up to the ordering speaker accidentally floored the gas instead of the brake. This sort of incident is known as unintended acceleration due to pedal misapplication, and it happens way more often than you'd think. In this case, the pickup took out a menu sign before also colliding with the car behind Morgan. Morgan offered a copy of this footage to the driver of the Nissan after confirming that nobody had been injured. She said she loves and watches all our videos. If you do too, hit that subscribe button like a pickup hitting a menu sign. Whiskey 5 DJA is a repeat submitter who captured instant justice after a dump truck and a pickup both ran a red light right in front of a police SUV.
Wham bam!
The Fort Worth police officer immediately took off, ultimately pulling over the pickup truck while the dump truck continued on. Our subscriber told us he submitted his footage to the City Department of Transportation. He's hoping they'll have a conversation with the dump truck driver about the importance of obeying traffic signals. If you want to see another instant justice video Whiskey 5 JDA sent us, we'll link to it at the end of this episode. Ethan was on his way home at 4 a.m. following a 19-hour shift. Less than a mile after getting on the highway, he was violently rear-ended at over 100 miles per hour. The impact sent Ethan's Volkswagen Jetta briefly airborne as it spun sideways down the highway. After running over and checking to see if Ethan was okay, the other driver ran across the highway and jumped a fence. It turned out the other driver was fleeing the California Highway Patrol. Thankfully, with help from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office, they were able to locate and detain them for felony hit and run. After the repair estimate for Ethan's Jetta exceeded $17,000, his insurance provider totaled the car. Thankfully, he's since made a full recovery from his injuries. Christoph was following behind a police officer when they both watched the driver of a car make an interesting maneuver. Not only did the other driver turn the wrong way down a one-way street, they then made a left turn from a right turn lane. Predictably, the officer ahead of Christoph turned on the party lights to pull them over. Christoph is another repeat submitter, and his last submission was another instant justice video. We'll link to it at the end of this episode so you can check it out. After waiting patiently for a traffic light to turn green, Tyler and his wife were both shocked when another driver decided they weren't going to be as patient.
Oh my!
Thankfully, Tyler was able to slam on his brakes and honk, but the other driver didn't seem to have a care in the world as they sped by. Sadly, there was no instant justice this time, but everyone's luck runs out eventually. Jake was taking his wife back to work when a driver exiting a parking lot turned across 3 lanes, giving Jake no option but to T-bone the sedan. Police and firefighters responded to the scene after Jake's wife called 911. Thankfully, nobody was seriously injured in the collision, but Jake told us they'd paid off their Hyundai Elantra less than a month before this happened. He also said he'd only just installed a dashcam, and he's glad he did. If you need a dashcam, don't wait until it's too late. You'll find links and coupons for the models our team uses in our own vehicles down in the description. In Jake's case, officers used his footage to confirm he'd attempted to avoid a collision before finding the other driver responsible. Thanks to Jake's dashcam, his insurance settlement was issued just days after the collision. He used the settlement check, which came out to 87% of what he'd paid for the Elantra 5 years prior, to replace it with the Hyundai Kona with more safety features and all-wheel drive. Nice upgrade. This subscriber watched the driver of an SUV pull up to a road, only to discover that they weren't at a driveway and were about to drive down off a curb. After first trying to back up, they eventually decided to just go for it. After cutting into traffic from across a sidewalk, the SUV driver made a left turn from the wrong lane before driving off into the distance. Thankfully, the other drivers nearby stayed well clear of them during this maneuver. Victor had only made it a block from work before a Hyundai driver decided that stop signs are just suggestions. The collision repair shop stopped counting after the estimate reached $15,000 and Victor's insurance provider totaled his Toyota 4Runner. He used the settlement to replace it with a Lexus plug-in hybrid. Owen was headed through a green light when a pickup driver with a flashing yellow light indicating he should yield to oncoming traffic didn't yield to oncoming traffic. Owen slammed the brakes and honked to avoid hitting the pickup truck or the trailer it was towing. He's thankful his Nissan Leaf's electric brake assist was able to stop the 3,200-pound vehicle on a dime. Matthew had just picked up his Subaru Outback from service and was on his way home when traffic ahead abruptly slowed down. Check out what he saw after the sound of screeching tires prompted him to check his rearview mirror. After what was thankfully a minor impact, Matthew told us that neither driver could find any damage to either vehicle. After getting the pickup driver's insurance information, Matthew did another thorough inspection later. He told us he couldn't find anything wrong with his Outback. The tailgate, backup camera, and cross-traffic alert sensors all still worked perfectly. He couldn't find any evidence that a collision had even occurred. Matthew wanted to encourage our viewers to get a rear-facing dashcam and not just a front-facing one. As you can imagine, a dual-camera setup comes in handy in rear-end collisions. This subscriber was following behind a Model 3 when he watched the driver reveal themselves to be a Tesla behaving badly. Check out this Tesla driver clearly running a red light.
That Tesla man can't drive. That Tesla man can't drive.
We timed it, and the Model 3 entered the intersection nearly 2 seconds after the light turned red and a full 5 seconds after it first turned yellow. Come on, man. That wasn't even close to being legal. Sultan observed the obvious consequence of misguided courtesy after the driver ahead of him left a gap for traffic to reach a driveway. After an oncoming driver turned through the gap, another driver T-boned them. Sultan told us we should make a joke about the fact that both vehicles were green Subarus, but that sounds like perfect comment bait to me. Post your best joke about this collision in the comments, and don't forget to close the gap. Remember, it's not courteous, it's dangerous. Anna was on her way home from work when she nearly collided with a truly oblivious driver. Not only did the other driver fly past the stop sign and into the road when it wasn't at all clear, Anna pointed out that she was even looking the wrong way to check for traffic on this one-way road. Thankfully, Anna was paying attention and was able to swerve around the intruding car, continuing on her way before getting home safe and sound. Veronica is a new driver who'd gotten licensed just 5 months before this footage was captured by a dashcam in another driver's vehicle. Watch as an SUV driver gets confused by the traffic signals and runs a red light. That gray Nissan Altima that was hit? That was Veronica's car. She'd been driving through a green light when the white SUV, blocked from her view by another vehicle, turned across her lane, causing the collision. Thanks to Veronica's braking, the force of the impact was relatively minor. She said the Dashcam owner, Dakota, gave her a copy of this footage as well as permission to share it with Wham Bam Dashcam. Fixing her Nissan Altima ended up costing $7,000, which was covered by insurance. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt in the collision. Here's hoping her own Dashcam will be up and running soon. Brandon was cruising down a California highway on a rainy night when a black car sped past him. Moments later, as they rounded a bend in the highway, the other driver lost control before slamming into the front of a semi-truck. Brandon stopped and checked on the occupants of the car. Thankfully, neither was injured, and he stayed with them until the California Highway Patrol arrived to secure the scene 10 minutes later. Like the drivers ahead of him, Raymond had to swerve around a driver who didn't know how to color inside the lines before traffic came to a sudden stop, activating his Toyota Camry's emergency braking. Another driver, distracted by the lane straddler, didn't notice Raymond's Camry had stopped until it was too late for them to avoid a collision. Raymond is now waiting to see if the car he bought 2 months ago is totaled. Zach had just picked his son Evan up from school and was taking him home when an oncoming driver, clearly confused about how left turns work, almost smashed into his Honda Odyssey. Thankfully, Zach was able to swerve around the Subaru without hitting it, and he and Evan made it home safely. He told us they watch Wham Bam every week, along with Bria and Noah. He also told us that Minnesota drivers are the worst, which is funny because we don't yet have any worst drivers of Minnesota videos. We'll get started on one right away, Zach. As Jasmine turned left from one of 2 turn lanes, she was wondering why a white SUV was getting so close, and then it hit her. Jasmine was understandably upset after the SUV struck her Honda Accord, but not as upset as the occupants of the SUV. She said they threw a fit after they all stopped to exchange information. Thankfully, nobody was injured, but Jasmine wanted to remind our viewers that wide turns are always illegal. Be sure to turn into your own lane and not into one farther over than where you started. This subscriber sent us another video from Minnesota, but this time it wasn't another driver that was causing a problem. As he puts it, a neighborhood turkey gang decided it was time for a random vehicle inspection. After about a minute of blocking the road in front of Matt's Kia Telluride, the fowl flock finally fled from the four-wheeler's fore. Don't forget to watch Whiskey 5 JDA's previous instant justice submission in this episode. Or check out Christoph's previous instant justice submission in this one. Man, lots of instant justice being sent in. You gotta love it. The chaos never stops, so remember to subscribe so you won't miss next week's episode. See you then.
Wham, bam, we got a Patreon man. Please support the show.